Listen to this every day and change your life. Unlock your true potential. Have you ever felt like you're standing on the edge of greatness, but something holds you back from jumping? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's self-doubt, or perhaps it's simply the feeling that success is meant for others, not you. What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and your most extraordinary life is the power you haven't tapped into yet? Imagine waking up every morning with a clear sense of purpose, confidence, and the unwavering belief that today is the day you begin your transformation. Section 1. The Power of Belief and Self-Worth. Let's start with a simple truth. You are enough. No matter where you come from, no matter what your past looks like, you are capable of greatness. The only question is, do you believe that? Think about it for a second. When was the last time you truly believed in yourself? I mean, really believed. We all face moments where we doubt our worth. But here's the thing, belief isn't just about having confidence on a good day. It's about trusting that no matter what, you have something valuable to offer, even when the world tells you otherwise. You see, belief is not just a motivational buzzword. It's the first key to unlocking your full potential. Take a moment and think about every great achievement in history. People like Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, and Elon Musk were once told they were too small, too unqualified, or too unlikely to succeed. But what made them stand out? They believed in themselves, even when the odds were stacked against them. They didn't just dream about what was possible. They knew they had the power to make it happen. And that belief, that was the spark that ignited their fire. But here's the thing. Self-belief isn't some magical trait that only a select few are born with. It's a choice. It's a muscle that you can build over time, one small step at a time. So ask yourself, what if you really believed in your own potential? How would that change the way you show up each day? There's a quote from Henry Ford that I absolutely love. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The power of self-belief doesn't just influence your mindset, it influences your actions. Think about it. When you believe you can do something, you approach it differently. You face challenges with resilience, knowing that no setback is permanent. You're not afraid to take risks because you understand that failure is simply part of the journey. And most importantly, when you believe in yourself, you stop waiting for permission. You go after what you want with everything you've got. But belief isn't just about big dreams or grand ambitions. It shows up in the small moments too. Maybe you've been holding back on something, starting a new project, having that difficult conversation, or trying something that feels a little too big for you. Here's the truth. You don't need to wait until you're ready. You just need to take that first step, because the reality is, you're already more capable than you realize. Let's talk about setbacks for a minute. Everyone faces them, yes, even the most successful people in the world. But here's the difference. They don't let setbacks define them. They let them refine them. Think about someone like J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter took off, she was rejected by multiple publishers. She faced financial struggles and deep personal challenges, but her belief in her story and in herself was stronger than any rejection. And today, well, the rest is history. So, let's bring this home. The next time you feel that voice of doubt creeping in, ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Because belief isn't passive. It's not something that just happens to you. It's something you have to actively choose every single day. When you face challenges, believe that you're capable of overcoming them. When you fall short, believe that you have the strength to get back up. When you feel like giving up, believe that persistence is the key to success. Here's your takeaway. You are enough. There is no dream too big for you. There is no obstacle too great for you to overcome. You are capable of creating the life you want, not because of some magical formula, but because of your belief in yourself. So right now, in this moment, make the decision to believe in your own power. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Take one small step and let that belief guide you to the next. Because when you believe in yourself, you unlock the doors to a life beyond your wildest imagination. And remember this, you've got this. Now, Go and show the world what you're made of. N02. Life is not about avoiding challenges. In fact, if you're trying to live a life without them, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. Challenges are a part of life. They're inevitable. What really matters is how you respond to them. How do you face the tough times? How do you handle the obstacles that get in your way? Because it's in those moments of difficulty that you have the chance to grow, to learn, and to truly shine. Think about it. Every successful person, every powerful leader has faced their own version of adversity. From big business moguls to world-changing scientists to athletes at the top of their game, they've all experienced moments when things didn't go as planned. And yet, they didn't let those moments stop them. Instead, they used them to fuel their journey forward. When you find yourself up against a wall, it can feel overwhelming. The easy thing to do is give up, throw in the towel, and walk away. But here's the thing. That's not where growth happens. Growth happens when you keep going, even when it seems impossible. That's where success is born. When challenges arise, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me better?" Look at the obstacle in front of you, and instead of seeing it as a barrier, see it as a stepping stone. Each setback is just another setup for a comeback. Think of it this way. Obstacles aren't there to break you. They're there to help you discover just how strong you really are. Let's take a moment to think about one of the most famous inventors in history, Thomas Edison. If anyone had reason to give up, it was him. When he was working on the invention of the light bulb, he didn't just try a few times and quit. No, he failed over 1,000 times before he figured out the right materials and method to make the light bulb work. 1,000 times. And do you know what he said about those failures? He didn't call them failures at all. He called them steps. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000,000 ways that won't work." Now, imagine if Edison had given up after the first few setbacks. Imagine if he had let frustration and self-doubt control him. We might still be living in the dark. Instead, he pushed forward, and because of his perseverance, we now have electric lights lighting up the night. Let me tell you a story about another individual who didn't let adversity stop him, Howard Schultz. Now, Schultz's story is a powerful reminder that where you start doesn't have to determine where you end up. Howard Schultz grew up in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn. His family struggled to make ends meet. But even with those hardships, he had a dream. He believed in the power of community, of connecting over something as simple yet profound as coffee. But his dream didn't come easy. Schultz had a vision of a coffee house where people could gather, talk, share ideas, and form bonds. A place where the experience of drinking coffee was just as important as the coffee itself. But time and time again, investors turned him down. They didn't see his vision. They didn't understand why a coffee shop could be anything more than just a place to get a quick cup of coffee. But did Schultz give up? No. He kept pushing forward. He kept believing, and eventually his idea caught on. Today, Starbucks is one of the most successful and globally recognized brands in the world, with thousands of stores in nearly every country. Schultz could have let those early failures define him. He could have let the rejection, the doubt, and the frustration stop him from pursuing his dream. But instead, he chose to let those setbacks fuel his determination. He turned every no into a reason to try harder, and his story proves that persistence can turn the impossible into the possible. You don't have to be born into success. You don't have to have everything handed to you. What matters most is what you do with the challenges life throws at you. Will you let them defeat you, or will you let them drive you forward? Relatable scenario. Maybe right now, you're facing your own challenges. Maybe you're feeling stuck in your job or overwhelmed by a personal situation or unsure about the future. It might feel like you've been knocked down, like you're not moving forward, but I want you to remember something important. This moment is not the end of your story. Take a moment to think about it. What's that one thing that's been weighing on you? What's the challenge you're currently up against? Now, ask yourself, what if this challenge is exactly what you need to grow? What if it's pushing you in a direction you would never have gone otherwise? What if, just like Edison and Schultz, this setback is the very thing that's going to fuel your comeback? It's all about perspective. Every time life hands you a challenge, you have a choice. You can choose to let it break you, or you can choose to rise above it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. So today, I challenge you to take that first step. Take the setback and turn it into something that drives you. Whether it's starting that business, learning that new skill, or pursuing that dream you've always put off, don't let fear of failure stop you. Keep moving, keep growing, and remember, the greatest successes often come from the hardest battles. This version expands on the original script by diving deeper into the motivational message with personal questions, a relatable scenario, and a call to action that encourages the audience to take action and face adversity with resilience. No 3. Section 3. The power of consistency. Hey, let's talk about something that most people overlook when they're chasing their dreams. Consistency. We all love those big, shiny moments of success, right? The grand achievements, the massive breakthroughs, the wow moments that grab everyone's attention. But here's the truth. It's not the big moments that make success happen. It's the small, consistent actions you take every single day that really compound over time and build something truly extraordinary. Let me paint a picture for you. Think of success like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, almost unnoticeable. But as it picks up momentum, it gets bigger and faster. It's unstoppable. It's the same with your goals. The small steps you take today, the effort you put in tomorrow, and the commitment you make over time, they all build up. And eventually, all of those small wins come together to create something massive. Here's the thing. We often look at successful people and think, wow, they've got it all together. They must have had some big breakthrough or lucky moment. But the reality is, they were probably just showing up consistently. They took small actions, day after day, even when they didn't feel like it. And over time, those actions paid off in ways they could never have imagined in the beginning. Let's get real for a second. Think about something you've accomplished in your life. Maybe it was a hobby you started or a skill you developed. How did you get better at it? Was it because you spent hours every single day practicing or working on it? Most likely you started small. Maybe you practiced for just a few minutes a day, or maybe you didn't have a clear plan in the beginning, but over time, those small, consistent efforts added up. And before you knew it, you had mastered something or at least gotten really good at it. Here's another example. Think about the gym. You don't wake up one day and suddenly run a marathon or lift huge weights. You don't see those kinds of results overnight. But if you commit to going to the gym regularly, even just a few times a week, over time you'll see progress. The results might be slow at first, but they're real, they're building. It's the same with anything you want to achieve in life. Whether it's a fitness goal, learning a new language, or launching a business, consistency is what makes the difference. So how do we make this work in our own lives? Well, let's break it down. One of the easiest ways to start is by creating small, daily habits that move you closer to your goals. And I'm talking about tiny, almost effortless actions that you can fit into your day, no matter how busy you are. You want to read more. Instead of telling yourself, I'll read a whole book this weekend, try this instead. Commit to reading just 10 pages every day. Doesn't sound like much, right? But over the course of a year, that's almost 3,650 pages. That's a whole lot of knowledge packed into small daily actions. Or maybe you want to learn a new skill, like coding or photography. Instead of trying to cram hours of study into one day, dedicate just 20 minutes each day to learning. And guess what? Over the weeks and months, that 20 minutes adds up. It compounds, and you'll start to notice improvements that seemed impossible in the beginning. Let's not forget about those passion projects, the ones we often put off because we're too busy or don't have enough time. What if you could find just 30 minutes a day to work on your passion project? It might be writing, drawing, creating music, or even building a business. What if that 30 minutes became a non-negotiable part of your day? Over time, that commitment can transform your passion into something real. Maybe you're not getting paid for it today, but you're building something that could change your life tomorrow. And I know what you might be thinking right now. But I don't have time for all this. I'm too busy. Trust me, I get it. We all feel like we're juggling a million things at once. But the beauty of small, consistent actions is that they don't require huge amounts of time or effort. They're the actions you can take when you wake up 10 minutes earlier, or when you make the most of those few minutes in between meetings or chores. It's about choosing consistency over perfection and commitment over hesitation. Now, you might be wondering, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm not seeing results fast enough? Here's the truth. You might not see huge changes overnight, but that doesn't mean you're not making progress. Results take time, and that's okay. Don't get discouraged by the slow starts. Just keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Remember, small daily actions lead to massive results. And even if you can't see the progress right now, trust that it's happening. It's building layer by layer, day by day. So I'm going to leave you with this. Take a moment today to think about one small action you can take toward your goal. What's one thing you can do every day that will move you closer to where you want to be? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be huge. But if you commit to it every day, you'll start to see the snowball effect take place. And before you know it, you'll be looking back at all you've accomplished and realizing it wasn't the big moments that made the difference. It was the small, consistent steps you took all along the way. Oh, get started. Make your small habit non-negotiable. Show up every day, even when it feels hard, because you've got this, and the results are waiting for you. This version extends the original script by including more examples, questions, and a relatable tone to keep the audience engaged and motivated. It ends with a clear call to action that encourages viewers to take that first step toward consistency. N4, you are not your circumstances. You are not defined by the challenges you've faced, the mistakes you've made, or the setbacks that seem to hold you back. You are the author of your own story. The pen is in your hands. And here's the exciting part. No matter where you are right now, you have the power to rewrite your future. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what story am I telling myself? Because the story you believe, the one you tell yourself day after day, shapes who you become. Think about it. Every decision you make, every action you take starts with a thought. It's the lens through which you view the world that determines the life you live. Now, take a moment and really think about this. If I were to write the next chapter of my life, what would it look like? What would I do if I truly believed I could succeed? What if my story wasn't limited by fear, doubt, or past failures? The truth is, your mindset is your most powerful tool. It's not your circumstances, not the cards you've been dealt, but your mindset. The way you think about your challenges, your potential, and your future, that will determine the actions you take, and those actions will shape your outcomes. For example, let's talk about Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. Imagine if he had given up after the first failure, or the 100th. He didn't see those failures as the end, but as steps toward his success. Edison didn't let the story of failure define him. He rewrote his story with every attempt, learning and growing stronger. And here's the thing, you have that same power. But it starts with your mindset. Your story's not written in stone. It's a draft that you can revise at any moment. Let's take a look at another example. Have you ever heard of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series? Before she became one of the world's most successful authors, she was a single mom living on welfare. She faced rejection after rejection from publishers. But instead of letting those rejections define her, she kept going. She chose to believe that her story wasn't over, and she kept rewriting it until the world finally saw the magic in her words. Now, I want you to think about the story you're telling yourself. Are there limiting beliefs that have been holding you back? Are you telling yourself, I'm not good enough or I can't succeed? It's time to challenge those thoughts. Replace them with empowering beliefs. Because here's a truth, what you believe about yourself can either propel you forward or keep you stuck in the same place. So let's make this practical. Right now, think about one area of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's your career, your relationships, or your personal growth. Now, ask yourself, what do I need to believe about myself to succeed in this area? What if you believed you had everything you needed to make it happen? What if you started telling yourself, I am capable. I am resilient. I can learn and grow through anything. Your mindset shapes your actions. When you believe in your potential, you'll start taking steps toward your goals, no matter how big or small. And with every step, you'll start to rewrite the story of your life. But here's the key. You have to commit. As Tony Robbins says, the only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. That means dreaming bigger, reaching higher, and committing to the process, even when things get tough. Because growth doesn't happen overnight. But if you stay committed, the results will follow. Think about the times you've faced challenges in the past. How many times did you think you couldn't push through, but somehow you did? Maybe it took longer than you expected, but you kept going. You rewrote your story with every challenge, and that's why you're here today. So what's next for you? What will your new chapter look like? I want you to take one thing from this today. You have the power to change your mindset. You can start rewriting your story right now, in this moment. And it doesn't have to be a massive change. It can be as simple as deciding to believe that you are worthy of success, or choosing to take that first step, no matter how small, toward your goals. You don't have to wait for the right moment. The right moment is now. The story you tell yourself today will determine the story of your tomorrow. So, I challenge you. Take that leap, dream bigger, believe in yourself, and start rewriting your story. Remember, the pen is in your hands. It's time to write the life you've always dreamed of. Closing music fades out. If you're ready to start rewriting your story, hit that like button, share this message with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment below with one step you're going to take today to change your mindset. Together, we can all create the futures we deserve. No 5. Success isn't a destination. It's not something you achieve overnight, and it's certainly not a place you arrive at. In fact, success is a journey, one that you're already on. And when you realize that, everything changes. Think about it for a moment. We often look at success as this far-off goal. You might see someone living their dream life, getting that promotion, or finally hitting their fitness goals, and you think to yourself, I'll get there someday. But here's the thing, that someday is today. The moment you take your first step toward becoming the best version of yourself, you begin a journey that will bring growth, challenge, and yes, some bumps along the way. And you know what? That's okay. Actually, it's more than okay, it's necessary. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, every lesson you learn, that's what shapes you. That's what creates the person you are meant to become. So let's start by embracing the idea that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. You know those days when everything seems to go wrong? The days when your plans fall apart and you feel like you're stuck? We've all been there. Maybe you missed a deadline at work, or maybe something personal didn't go the way you expected. We've all had those moments where it feels like you're moving backward, not forward. But here's the truth. Those tough days don't define you. They're simply part of the process. You can't grow without a little struggle. Think about how a tree grows. Its roots dig deeper in the soil when it faces a storm. And just like that tree, your struggles help you become stronger. Every challenge, no matter how small, is a lesson. Take the time to look at your journey so far. Think about how far you've come, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. How many times have you faced something difficult and pushed through? You might not have noticed it in the moment, but you were learning, adapting, growing. Celebrate those moments, even if they don't feel big, and you don't have to do it alone. Along the way, you'll meet people who inspire you, challenge you, and cheer you on. You'll also encounter moments of doubt and uncertainty, but remember, that's okay too. Success isn't about having it all figured out from the start. It's about showing up, learning, and staying committed to your own growth. Real success comes when you're able to look back at your journey and see how far you've come, how many lessons you've learned, how many people you've helped, how many times you've picked yourself up and kept moving forward. And here's the most important part: be kind to yourself. We're all our own harshest critics. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to beat yourself up, to think, I'm not good enough, or I should have done better. But here's the thing: you're doing your best, and that's more than enough. Success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. So, take a deep breath, celebrate your small victories, even the ones that seem insignificant. You showed up today, and that's progress. Every step, no matter how small, gets you closer to the person you want to be. Now, think about your goals. Think about the journey you're on. Can you picture yourself a year from now, 5 years from now? What would it feel like to look back and realize just how far you've come? Imagine the pride, the satisfaction, and the joy that will fill your heart when you see that your journey was worth every twist, every turn, and every challenge along the way. What will you do today to move forward? What's one small step you can take toward becoming the person you want to be? You don't need to have it all figured out right now. Just take that first step. Embrace the journey, no matter how messy it might seem, because at the end of the day, it's not about the destination. It's about who you become along the way. So keep going, keep growing, keep believing in yourself, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. You're on the right path. You're exactly where you need to be. And remember, every day is another chance to take another step. So let's do it together. Keep moving forward, and know that success is already within you. It's a journey, and you're not alone. Concluding message, the call to action. Now, I want to leave you with one final thought. You have everything within you to change your life. The only thing standing in your way is the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you can achieve. So starting today, choose to believe in yourself. Embrace the challenges, the setbacks, the lessons, and take consistent action toward your goals. Every day is a new opportunity to grow, to improve, and to move closer to your true potential. I believe in you, and now it's time for you to believe in yourself. Go out there and make today the first step of your journey toward the life you've always dreamed of.